you can achieve the planche within the next few years. And I think the reason so many people don't try is one, they don't know about it, and two, they just think it's so far beyond them, like so far ahead of them. They'll have to do so much work, they'll have to do all this, all that, that they, don't even try because they think it's such a big jump. Which, if you're looking at it like that, yeah, sure, it's a big jump. But the thing is, you have to break it down like any big goal, anything you've ever done. You've had to break down into its individual steps and go from there. You have to do this thing, then this thing, then this thing, and then the final thing. You don't just go from the beginning to the final thing. That doesn't make any sense, and you'd be kind of dumb to do that. Big goals like the planche require a lot of work to put in, but if you think about all the work beforehand that you're going to have to do, you're going to get, angry and flustered and annoyed that you're not progressing as fast as you think you should be, even when you are making some good progress. And so I think the planche is 80% mindset and 20% actual working, stuff, because of how long it takes. You're going to have to stick with it. You're not going to be able to stop when you're not seeing much progress. You have to just keep going through those valleys, those tough points, because what's the point of stopping there? You're already halfway through. Why would you stop when you seem like you're not making progress? And I'm saying this out of love, I've done that. I did that 4 times during my journey, and I don't know why. I mean, I do, but it was a terrible idea. I don't know why I did it. So if you're already training for the planche, or if you're going for it, or if you want to start going for it, that would be my biggest thing for you, is don't waste time giving up, right? For most people, and for me, you give up and then a month later you're back, and you basically just lost a month and got weaker while you're at it. So the best thing you can do in situations where you seem like you're not making any progress is just to keep going. Just keep going with it, and eventually you'll make it out of that spot, right? Imagine an ice cube, right? And it's sitting in this room. And the room right now is at 0 degrees Celsius. No, fuck. Sorry. 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And the room is slowly getting warmer, 1 degrees, 2 degrees, 10 degrees. But the ice cube doesn't do anything, right? The room is getting warmer, but the ice cube is still solid because the temperature is under what is needed to start melting it. And up until 31 degrees Fahrenheit, the cube stays the same, right? So I'm saying that's like you're not making progress even though you're putting in the work. And then as soon as you cross that little line into 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, the ice cube starts to melt, and all your work is now visible, showable, right? You start to see your progress. I'm saying like the ice cube melting is your results. And so, yeah, it takes a while to see them. But when you do, they're so much sweeter and so much more fun because you put in all this hard work when you didn't even know when you'd see the results, right? You did all that work, and you're finally going to get the taste of your reward, or whatever the fuck the saying is, right? All it takes is a little time. So if you're worried, or if you're thinking, man, it will take so long, just remember the time's going to pass anyway. So why not try? Because the planche has such a big barrier to entry, meaning it takes a lot of work just to see those first results, it's a lot more rare to see people do it. And so you have a big advantage if you do start, right? Things that are super easy to do, or things that are super easy to start doing, such as, I don't know, knee push-ups, they're not very special unless you couldn't do those before, but they're not very special in like normal life because so many people can do them that it's not rare, right? It's common. Almost everyone can do those. And so the planche, almost no one starts, and no one sticks with it because it's so hard. And every time you do a training, you're surpassing a little bit of the population because that's how it works. Things that are special are usually very, very difficult. And the planche is no exception, right? So if you're just starting training and you're not seeing any progress, just know that even though you might not see progress right now, you're making more progress than 99% of the population because they didn't even start, right? You're putting in the hard work because you're starting. One thing I'd like for you to do is to stop thinking of the planche as so difficult because it's not going to help you very much, right? If you think that the planche is way too hard, you're going to be way less of a, you're going to try way less because you're going to think that you can't do it. There was a time pretty recently where a kid came up to me and he asked me how I was doing what I was doing. I think I was doing a handstand at the time or something. And I basically told him just a lot of practice and a lot of effort, right? And I asked him if he wanted to try it out as well. And to which he answered, nah, I'm not good enough for that. And it's like, yeah, no shit, you're not good enough for that. You haven't even started, right? He basically rejected himself before I could say anything. And he just kept saying, no, I can't do it. I never tried before. And I told him, right? I was like, do you want to try right now? I can give you some tips. I can give you some assistance. And he was like, no, it's okay. I don't think I'll be able to do it. And I kind of just stopped arguing with him at that point because I was just like, okay, sure, I guess, fine. Reject yourself, whatever. And I really wish he had a better mindset about it because then I could have given him some tips to get started, right? But I don't know. He just didn't think he could ever do it. He was looking at the goal like it was too big and he wasn't breaking it down like into the individual steps, which is sad for him. I mean, think of the insane gymnastics skills and routines that, Olympic gymnasts can do, right? And compare that to the planche. Does the planche seem as hard anymore? No, it doesn't. At least in my eyes. Because you're comparing it to something much harder. And so, in contrast, the planche seems a lot easier. And that's something that really helped me in the beginning because I don't think I would have started with as much fire in my mind if I imagined the planche as, hard, too difficult, right? I came into working out because I basically knew I would achieve it one day. I wrote myself a contract on a piece of paper, and in it I basically said, before I die, I'm going to planche. And this contract helped me stay focused, helped me stay, locked in enough until I eventually reached the planche. And it wasn't a flat linear road. That had some bumps in it, but eventually you make it, right? And think about it. 2 years, that's not even that long, right? 2 years is 2022. Did 2022 seem that long ago? Okay, it kind of did. But you get the point, right? 2 years is going to pass by anyway. So you could either in 2020, 2027, you can either achieve the planche at that point, you could be on your way to achieving the planche at that point, or you could have done nothing and the time would have passed anyway. So just start. Even if you don't think you can, just start. Eventually you're going to see progress and you'll be more inclined to actually go through with it. But for now, I just want you to make some progress towards the planche because not that many people can do it and I need a friend. And you need to get better. So what are the actual exercises that you can do to train for it? Well, my favorite so far has been pseudo planche push-ups. And these are basically push-ups, but you lean forward while you're in the up position and you kind of stay in one line the whole time. And these don't look very hard, but they are actually insanely difficult. I think mostly because of the lean. Obviously, it puts a lot of stress on your shoulders, and that's kind of it. And your wrist. But that exercise was basically the thing that carried the beginning of my planche journey. And I think I still do it now because I get such a good, stretch from it. I get such a good muscle contraction that I still think I'm getting progress from it, even though I can now do the planche. And it's helping me with other skills, such as the planche push-up, which I hopefully will get soon. But for you, I definitely recommend that exercise first. Another one I can think of is basically just attempts, right? in the beginning, you're going to have to do the tuck planche, obviously, before you do the harder progressions. And so if you can't do the tuck planche, like it took me a few months to do it. And what I did was just hold it for as close as I can to the actual skill. So my feet were on the ground, but I was trying my best to push up and, keep as much pressure on my hands rather than my feet. So it kind of simulated the skill itself. And this helped me because I was able to know where my body was in space and also just with strength itself. Because the more you do a skill, the more you're going to get better at that skill, right? It's just basic specificity. And so these skills were the ones that helped me the most, these exercises. All right, if you're still watching the video, I am proud of you because you're getting the information for the first step you can take or the next step you can take. And for anyone that clicked off already, they gave up because they already imagined the skill was too hard and they wouldn't ever be able to do it, which is not the right mindset, right? You're going to have some confidence in yourself to do this skill. And unless you're severely crippled or, have some genetic thing, you're just bullshitting yourself if you don't believe you can do it. Right? People say it's hard. And it is hard, right? I'm not going to lie. It is a very difficult skill, but it's also, I think, achievable for pretty much anyone. So take this from a guy who achieved it recently, right? From someone who is taller, which is not good, and from someone who is pretty heavy for the sport, right? It's not impossible. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Even if I couldn't do it, you get the point, right? It's achievable. You can achieve this. And the first things to do are to start with the easier skills, right? And eventually build up. The skills will get harder as you get stronger. But for now, these two skills helped me the most. For the rest of the journey, I'm going to link some videos in the description for you because I'm not going to cover the whole skill here. I just wanted to get you started off with the right mindset. So eventually, when you do it, I'll have more friends that can do calisthenics because it's such a rare sport right now and I want more people to start. So if you can be the next world champion, I'd appreciate that. Thanks for watching.